to you. I just kind of was feeling the rain elements for this session, you guys. It's Self Care Sunday. So I hope that you've already gone ahead and taken the moment or two, all right, that you need to just kind of like self rejuvenate, do what makes you feel good, all right. Um, Hopefully, some of you might say what makes you feel good is coming on to some of the live streams. I get that, but I really want to make sure that you go beyond that as well in a very specific way from you to you, okay, you guys. Um, Sometimes, you know how they say like quality over quantity, and sometimes you just doing it yourself is just that direct connect type of best case scenario situation with some of this um, self rejuvenation. Makes sense, right? Like you can't really go to somebody else outside of you to be like, hey, can you rejuvenate me when it's maybe a you problem kind of thing. Makes sense. All right. And I do see in current energies, woo wee woo, we got to talk because this is a general collective message. But listen up in case this resonates, okay? Because we're going to talk about next steps, and that's what's most important, all right? Not outing anyone or asking anyone to out themselves. You know, honey bun, if your energy is attached to this general collective message. All right. Now it's my intention to get everybody and their mama here. All right. Just saying. But it's not always the case, and it's not always that it ought to be the case. So there's that. But current energies are giving Five of Swords, and that's why we got to talk about it because that's no bueno. All right. And Spirit's basically saying if whoever is in this mind frame of, you know, things are bad and things could get worse, Spirit saying that's exactly what could happen. You could miss out even, all right, even if this isn't talking about a physical theft or physical I meant to say robbery, okay, that the Seven of Swords can talk about, then it is really just kind of talking about you being your own worst enemy at that point, okay, with continuing on the path. Now that we're talking about this, now that you're receiving this message, and now that you know, all right, better, you can live better because staying even in this Five of Swords energy is just not good enough, let alone making things worse or i.e. continuing on the path and then allowing the swords to just be extra sharp and more plentiful in the sense of definitely not having any better of time in that energy either with the Seven of Swords. Makes sense. And we've got this hot and cold energy come out from my everything deck I was guided to use. All right. And here's the sitch. Energy cleanse comes to mind when I see things like and again, I made these cards years ago. I channeled this. All right, some of you, you know, hey, no judgment, only love and light. I wouldn't want the karma. But if you are responsible enough to have many partners out there, then you need to also be mindful that you are also just the same responsible enough to cleanse afterwards. And you guys, cutting those cords does not mean what you maybe think, okay, in the spiritual streets. It really just talks about spiritual health, cleansing, keeping your energy to you, all right, and giving back whatever, you know, maybe you didn't even know you took kind of thing. All right, and moving on in love and in light doesn't mean I'll never see you again. Doesn't mean we can't have round 13, baby. Right? Okay, make it make sense for you, but cleanse, right? That'd be like, could you imagine if it was like the 13th date, speaking of round 13, and your crusty ass had never taken a shower since the last time? Talking about, I'm ready for you since the last time, baby. That would not be palatable, right? So too with energy. Makes sense, okay? And it can lead to blockages, you know, start, stop, hot, cold, yes, no, maybe so. I don't know. And this can affect your money, it can affect your mental health, it can affect your time, your resources, just your energy, which, as they say, is everything nonetheless, right? Right. Okay. So again, to be clear, Five of Swords energy, no bueno. So if that's you, all right, you got to get out of it. Don't allow for it to grow worse, okay? Because then Spirit's saying you're gonna miss out, right? There's some double mindedness here. Confirmation. I just heard a tone. And so, you know, not knocking anyone who, I get this on a personal note, you guys, really, for real, for real, for real, for real, okay? Been there before. You know, you're putting your best foot forward, or maybe you're baby stepping on your butt cheeks, okay? Depending on the situation and the day, I get that, or the year, or the version of yourself. Keep going either way, right? Because you're going to get somewhere faster than doing not a damn thing. Makes sense. But, you put your best foot forward and then something happens and it rocks you and you're like, you know, and, maybe you want to give up and, you're crying, you're all tearful, thinking the worst case scenario in the moment. It happens, okay? But this is what we speak of, or what we mean when we speak of, double-minded, this, I'm hearing to say, indecisive energy, right? Okay, so which wolf are you feeding? You can't feed them both at the same time and still have hands probably at the end of the week. You know what I'm saying? So make it make sense, okay? And some of you, you're going through some of this start stop energy because it's karma. Now hear me out. This is not a doom and gloom message. I'm not saying anyone here is on the bad side of karma. Karma just is what it is. Karma can also be protective, just like it can also kick ass, right? It just is what it is. And so you have nothing to worry about if you've been putting out good. And I feel like I'm speaking to somebody in the collective, or all of us perhaps. I don't want to word curse, but this is a general collective message. And I feel like a lot of us can get this. I feel like I'm speaking to people who have been putting their best feet forward, right? And they have been setting good intentions, with, I'm hearing, with harm to none, with harm to none, like you just heart as light as a feather. You're not waking up going, who can I F over today? Gosh, I can't wait to crack a smile at someone else's demise, right? It's not that, okay? It's just it's lessons. And lessons, yes, we talk about, they're also blessings. They're also part of the karmic package, right? Again, how do you know something until you know it? How could you have any room to grow if you had nothing to grow out of? I mean, even the plants need a bit of dirt, right? Who wakes up every day and goes, wow, can't wait to get into the dirt, can't wait to be dirty. Usually people in their right minds, usually, just, I can't speak for everyone, I get that, but usually it's not that's on the top tier to-do list for any of us, right? But at the same time, dirt is necessary. Makes sense? And dirt is heavily relied upon by many things aside from plants. Okay, I won't go down that rabbit hole, but so karma just is what it is. And Spirit wants you to know this is all part of the divine plan. Okay? Your divine guidance team, whom all ever this makes sense to say, ancestral presence came through earlier pretty heavy today as well. Unfortunately, the deck that I would generally consult to get more specific messages aside from what I channel for them is packed. I just got a right ear tone. So if you know what that means, okay, But again, you guys, cleanse. Spirit saying, you can't just walk around just, it'd be like, you can't be that one that goes, okay, let me just never shower as long as I change my boxer briefs, or whatever you got down there. It's like, no, that doesn't add up all the way, sir, ma'am, bro, sis, whomever. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? So too with the energy, you guys. It's really, really important because it can affect your money aside from your heart space and your love life. Love life, Fiona. Oh, Zane's in London. Is Zane in London right now, or maybe it was like pre-recorded, you think? Or I don't know if you know. I definitely did not know about it. That's pretty cool though. So it is Self-Care Sunday, you guys. And Love and Light Knox Francis. Oh, it was last night. Oh man. And so a couple things. Some of you need to read. You need to read more, you need to read it all. And it's for a couple different reasons. Some of you, you know how like you look for a pleasant distraction, and you should be looking for a safe pleasant distraction, right? So reading can do that. Okay, so pick your poison there, essentially referable to what subject matter, if it's going to be fiction or nonfiction, etc. Choice is up to you. Others need to read more about what y'all know you need to read more about. So this is like research, this is school. Okay, it's giving read so that you get it in. Okay, because I'm just hearing to say once you get it in, it's just going to be like all downhill. You're building off of just getting that base level knowledge. Maybe this has to do with base level certification, and it's all downhill from there in a good, pleasant way, right? Maybe even a lucrative way. But read, okay? And lastly, with this, which I'm just now getting, is referable to the synchronicities. Read the signs. Okay. If they're smacking you in your face, okay, you should probably take a look. If you keep seeing 111 every time you turn around, 111, right? Maybe look it up. Okay. And maybe you think you know what it means. Uh-huh. Look it up again and see what else you get. Okay. Especially if you're plugging in whatever else you were thinking about every freaking time you're seeing 111. All right. Sometimes you guys, even our higher selves, it's not even always our guides, will give us signs like, you better freaking keep going. Okay. And you don't want to miss, especially don't be that one that goes, well, I don't have any friends, I don't have this, that, and the third, nobody really gives a fuck, I don't have a cheerleading section. Whole time your higher self is like 111 555, right? And you're just all and I don't have, it's like, don't be that one. Don't miss the signs, read them. Okay, look them up, study. Okay. Positive affirmations came through, pretty self-explanatory. But spirit saying, add to your mantras, abundance favors me. Okay. Now, abundance we know is not just pentacles in the sense of money, which pentacles aren't even in the sense of money every friggin' time in every way, shape, and form, even referable to the tarot. Okay. Though most popularly stated as that, right? So don't box it in. All right. Just let the abundance flow. I'm hearing you say, whatever the abundance is. It's not, how are you going to have a toxic waste dump or dumpster fire version of abundance come in? Okay. When we're talking that it's coming in from divine forces, right? When we're talking that it's coming in from God, Goddess, however you subscribe here, right? Again, going back to which one is it? Which wolf are you feeding? Are you on the positive side or the negative side? Are you on the faithful side or are you on the fear filled side of things? Because there's pretty much a dual nature to just about anything. Makes sense? All right. Make a vision board, pretty self explanatory coming out. Pinterest also comes to mind. Maybe you want to make a digital one instead of like a physical one. Um, But this hot and cold energy is really coming from a sense of ungroundedness. Okay. And, being grounded is really not a one and done thing. That's why they have like grounding mats, grounding sheets, grounding jewelry. It's a maintenance. Okay. Why? Because energy is fluid and energy is everything. Makes sense? Right? Um, Even still water doesn't really 1,010% stay still. There could be microorganisms in it swimming about, right? Even though the wind hasn't blown in such a way where, the embankment gets any wetter on a higher aspect of it. So what of it? It's not necessarily still, even though when you look at it, looks like, well, that silt hasn't moved, and it hasn't. And all right, so again, something about don't box yourself in, don't box divine or God, Goddess in to your self perception. Don't box yourself in referable to your self perception. Okay, be easy, be grace filled, be faith filled. All right, be clear. That's why the vision board energy is coming through. Okay. And be positive. Of course, of course, of course. All right. And I get it. It's like, oh, this is all easier said than done. Because we're just sitting here talking around a freaking tarot table, right? There's going to be setbacks. Again, did we not just discuss dirt? Maybe some of you, are actively having dirt thrown on your name. And so what of it? Is what's in a name anyways, right? What is in the worth and value of another person's perception, okay, over that of you having a grounded sense of self and perception of self and self-worth? It's not going to trump, you know the gold that you are, right? Any kind of spiritual warfare, any kind of, manipulation against you, okay? It's not the first time. And I don't want to be word cursing and say, like, oh, yeah, expect another. But at the same time, when you look back, it's giving, you know, that "but did you die" kind of energy, right? Because you're stronger for it, you're wiser for it. All right. Again, setbacks propel you forward at times. Okay. Maintain a positive attitude, the card states, and keep going. Pretty self-explanatory. All right. Make your biggest setbacks your greatest comebacks, you guys. And think of yourself as a slingshot. The further you're pushed back or pulled, or the harder you're fought against, perhaps, right? You're able to generate more energy to surpass your previous positions in life. All right. That's just the way the story goes. And, you know, who are you to go to? This is like, if we if we just temporarily envision Earth School, as we call it, okay, to be some form of amusement park. Who are you to stand in freaking line waiting for everyone else to get up to the top of the stairs to ride the freaking fill in the blank roller coaster? But then when you go, you say, "No, no, 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 we're not going through that loop whenever I get on. I want it to turn left." Like, that's not the way it works, okay? You got to go through some things sometimes. Why? Because you're better off on the other side of them. It's not really about punishment, it's about growth and pushing yourself beyond previous perceptions of self, okay? Why? So that you have freedom and confidence and mental health. Does that make sense? I mean, it's giving. Looks worth it to me, whether you're a guy, girl, what have you, okay? There could be some significance to an arrow tattoo, a yin yang tattoo, flower tattoo, black tattoos, as they say, like black lines. Doesn't have to be the case, you guys. It's a general collective message. Take what fits. And fitting in line nicely with Self Care Sunday for many of you, you may enjoy this one. Have a sweet treat, Spirit saying. Now, I would advise against some of the more processed non-food items, just saying, okay? So if you can pick a fruit out, that'd be pretty nifty, right, you guys? It'll be sweet, I promise. And we also have chakras are lit. Let's talk about it. The card says allow a harmonious flow of energy through your body by maintaining balanced chakras. Utilize meditation. I've been heavy on the meditation lately, you guys. I hope you guys have been doing the same thing. It is very, very helpful, especially if you know that you, like your girl, really live a lifestyle to maintain being grounded, okay, in the ways that you feel best, okay? High vibes, as it were. Utilize meditation, yoga, energy healing, or aromatherapy to assist in restoring any imbalances from within. So, those are ways to assist yourselves with not only keeping the chakras lit and honoring the fact that they are, all right, but keeping yourselves feeling grounded, feeling good. All right. I practice forgiveness also came out for you guys. And so when that comes out, you guys know I'm hitting up the self-forgiveness deck, which I did also do for you all, or for us all. I say it that way because this is a general collective, and I know I'm part of the collective as well, okay? But it says, I practice forgiveness. And gosh, this is making me think of Prince. Y'all know I cannot help myself. Like, come on now. Like, come on. So, Prince may be of some significance for you as well, you guys. Um, and the card says forgiveness is freeing. So there's this sense of confidence as well as freedom looking to come through for the collective in a general sweep, from what I can tell and feel off the cards so far tonight, you guys. And the card says, by forgiving yourself and others, you allow yourself to move forward with confidence. There's that word. And peace. Nice. I'll take a confidence and peace package any day, you guys, right? Um, Open up to all the love and joy you deserve by letting go what no longer serves you. Okay, and you have to be honest about that. If when you get around people, you know, your central nervous system is like, and it's making me think of the Minions when they're like, be do, you know, like the friggin' siren and shit, then you should not ignore that. As cute as Minions are, right? Just saying, if you get next to someone and it's giving Minions or running around with sirens, that is red alert energy, if I do say so myself. And you have to pay attention, be protective, because otherwise what's the point in even grounding yourself ever, right? If you're just going to be like, oh, I'll just let somebody come in like Wreck-It Ralph and just fuck it up, right? Keep your peace. We've been working on what? Confidence and peace? Like, exactly. So don't FAFO on, what is good about your life and the ways that you can control the good about your life. Does that make sense? I hope somebody got that. So when forgiveness comes out, we're definitely talking freedom as well, you guys. Okay. And this first card, let me see. I'm being guided to count the numbers of cards. We have 3 from the forgiveness oracle. All right. And there could be some significance to, maybe somebody wears like black and gold, black and tan, or maybe somebody smoked one. I think is that a black and, I think they're called black and tan, or maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let me get off of that. Somebody might be smoking. And there could be some significance to the color green, okay? Because those are the colors that came out across the 3. But the first card says, I forgive myself for rushing to get to an imagined endpoint and neglecting to enjoy what is already mine in the process. I choose to believe that every season of my life serves a purpose, and I give myself permission to accept and celebrate the timeline life has lovingly created for me. So, again, going back to that, which one is it that you're feeding? Are you feeding the wolf, of negativity or the wolf of positivity? Going back to that old proverb. And so, because the reality of the situation, even look at this, right? As beautiful as we just talked about how this energy is showing, right? Let's just kind of fuck around and see if this works for us, right? Maybe I can get the point across, okay? Now, this is an exercise, to be clear, right here, you guys. And this is not an instruction on how to live life, okay? This part, to be clear. All right, this is what we don't want to do. But I'm trying to show y'all what we can do if we really kind of want to fuck around. Here we go. Now, this overall is good vibes energy. Okay. I do believe wholeheartedly, you guys, I'm not trying to shit you, that this was created in the sense of good vibes. Okay. And to illustrate that way. And I feel like many of us artists in the collective would concur. Like, yeah, seems like that. And let me just, to be fair, let me just hold it up so you guys really can look. Okay. And again, this card is talking about grounded energy, right? So nothing outside of balance. All right. Grounded is just what the fuck it is, right? Right. Okay. So here's the sitch though. This is simultaneously a depiction of some form of alchemy, if you will. Transmutation, if you don't like that word, alchemy. All right. And so, really talking about some sort of energy work, energetic exchange. Okay. And those that know, okay, even with the quantum physical aspect of this illustrated situation or situationship with the rainbow prismatic energy also gives a bit of added touch to it. Some scientists indicate it to be as portal style type energy. Okay, so there's a lot going on. You see the lotus depiction upon the crown. All right, speaking of wisdom, downloads, okay, through aspects of prayer and meditation, which all assist to ground, right? Beautiful, beautiful. It's amazing. It's magic. I know. You like to do it 24/7 and then some all the time when it feels like all ways and in all ways. And then when it feels like you have to do it over and over and over again. And then when it feels like you have to do it all by yourself. And then when it feels like you have to do it not even all by yourself, but with all your guides watching over and over and over again. And so same situation, right? The camera's even starting to blur like, oh, fuck this. Which one is it though? Do we know? You'd have to choose every time. Mm. And that's what we mean when we talk about doing our part. And that is not a one and done. And again, even with this grounded energy, we talked before we started getting in down the rabbit hole pretty deep there about the same scenario, the same energy. You know, it's not a one and done. There's a level of maintenance here. And you've got to keep your wits about you. And you've got to cleanse. And you've got to remain faith filled. All right. And even in the religious community, you guys, I was taught faith to be a leaky substance, something that you really had to maintain that balance in. And how do you do that? Prayer, meditation, right? Going within, being still. Some might say waiting on God, as it were, right? Take what resonates, you guys. Love and light, Jay. Love and light, Logan. All right, so I'm going to ring the bell, you guys, before I get into the rest of the forgiveness. All right, that was pretty deep. That was pretty cool, though. But did you guys get that? Can you let me know, like, dead ass, like, did you seriously get that? How it can be beautiful and how it can be also the other side of what beautiful and the other side of what beauty is, even though it's the same scenario. Did anybody get that? Or I hope that landed, you guys. It's not even about my ego, I promise. I'm just really trying to be clear. It's a lot. If it was unclear, you guys, not for me not trying. Oh my gosh, my whole shoulder cracked. Ah. Y'all are saying nothing. Nobody got that for shit, huh? Wow. I did try. So if nobody has any questions, now I'm thinking, I wonder if I'm lagged or something or late or something. Because I don't see any questions either, and I feel like that's odd. Can someone put a heart in it? Okay, here we go. The card. Actually, well, yeah, I don't know. You know what I intuitively get off of this? Not really just a shadow. It's like her hair, but also she's blanketed with the acceptance and support of the cosmos. So it's giving, and that's why I said it's funny because we still have those moments where even though even though your spiritual giftings are heightening and you're great at manifestation and you're baby stepping here and there and that and the third, right? And you know that you've got guides and everything, it still can be just a lot of energy work, a lot of mental space work, heart space work. And in spite of that, in spite of the knowledge of knowing our like divine supporters, it's still it's almost like how you would say in the religious community where your flesh wants to kind of like cry out a bit and you have to tame it because like you really don't want to fuck up your manifestations. Long story short, it's so funny how the religious community that I grew well communities that I grew up in off and on throughout many moon cycles of my life really coincide with aspects of spirituality and manifestation. I'm just like, okay. Interesting. But yeah, forgiveness is so freeing. And I love to talk about forgiveness, but I also love to talk about forgiveness for self, right? Because you know how they always are so quick to say, like, oh, when you point the finger, you have, however many you have left there, because I don't want to assume I'm pointing back at you, right? Um, but it's also like people talk about, well, forgiveness is not for the other person, right? And forgiveness is for freedom of self, right? But they always talk about it in the perspective of forgiving outwardly the other person's offense. But sometimes there can be like residue deep within that same situation where you really have to look at yourself and be like, I forgive you for dismissing that red flag. You know, I forgive you for trying to play small to appease this mofo. You know, things like that. And so we do talk about that a lot, you guys. I do hope you stick around for the rest of the general collective message, because we've got two more cards referable to just that self forgiveness, and I thought they were pretty poignant um, points to be made. Just saying, you guys. I did pull from the tarot as well. All right. You're back to feeding the positive wolf? Hell yeah. Love that. Love that. And you know what? Don't beat yourselves up, you guys. Like, seriously. Oh my gosh. Like, if we counted it up, like, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm probably going to go, like, to the other side. And I'll be like, it's been 39 gabillion times that you, like, fed the other wolf. I'm like, like, I tried so hard. So I get it, you know, and it's so funny because my eye was guided to this. We've got justice, okay? We can just claim this justice right now. All right, because it just is. It just stands. So don't beat yourself up. I feel like the only way somebody should actually want to even like energetically beat themselves up is perhaps if they make a decision to do no action, no growth, no healing, and just like matter of factly make that decision. Like, because I feel like at that point it's giving shame on you. Like, why would you not love yourself out of whatever you know you find yourself in, you know? Because that is a choice, you know, just like it is a choice to climb out of that crab barrel, crab bucket that you may find yourselves in spite of however many crabs or people even that are actively trying to pull you back down, right? And you know the old adage, it's like everyone is fine with you doing amazing as long as it's not any level greater than their amazing. And the sad and sick part about that is we're not able to control other people's perspective of us. So we can have the perspective like, and this is, I've been in this scenario and it's kind of sad, right? So I'm not glorifying the situation, but I'm sure I'm not the only one that has, you know, from the collective that has found ourselves in situations where we were not viewing ourselves in the same light, and our light, our viewpoint of self, sadly at that time, I want to say it that way because no longer, right now, we properly value ourselves and have self worth, but we're not properly in those moon cycles, in those days, right? Valuing self and carrying that same level and measure of self worth. So we didn't see that, you know, when we were shining, honey, right? And so it's hard to understand in those moments why people just hate you out of nowhere, and you're just trying to do your best or trying to help, and you know, trying to put your best foot forward to help, and you know, and really believing in the cause, and trying to, you know, move forward and be all, you know. And you know, looking back, it's like, aha, okay, so the disconnect really was learn the lesson about your worth, that you are amazing, and that you don't have to try so hard, and that you know what, they're going to hate because you're doing great. Does that make sense? um Love and light, I'm so sorry. Whoever's asking about Hanan, okay, please read the description box below for the light rules. So when the bell rings, you'll know what to do and how to get that free message, okay? Thank you so much. Love and light, babe. But yeah, so, and it's funny that this last, excuse me, it's giving the first shall be last because this is the first card, not the last. I just called the last card. I did it again. I just called the first card last. And it's talking about forgiveness again for rushing. And I wanted to talk about this as well because it's been a heavy theme lately for me personally. I wondered if the collective were experiencing it as well. There has been a heavy theme about really slowing down. So even if you have to do, let's say it's like you've got to go to the grocery store and you know you've got like 30 minutes to get in and out, okay, and that's like hitting the line and everything, like literally, like, right, And so, normal course, it would be like you better haul ass to get over from the deli section over to where the bread is and, whatever, right? But it's almost like in current energies, the cheat code is to slow down so that you almost kind of interweave in the in between aspects of the crowds, whatever is normally the stagnation energy or rush hour energy, like is so interesting. And so it's kind of like paradoxical, makes sense. I mean, even in the religious community, I was taught that, God is really not a God of common sense, right? um, and makes sense if, quote, he, end quote, is no respecter of man, right? So, again, with this going with the flow, do not box it in, allow abundance to just be what it is for you and allow it to come in, okay? Forgiveness of self, slow down, ground, okay? Appreciate the path, even if that does include some level of betrayal, even if the betrayal came from you. And speaking of, this card says, I forgive myself for betraying who I truly am in order to show loyalty to the vision others have projected onto me. I choose to believe that although I may risk disappointing others in the process of being true to myself, the true me is also capable and deserving of both love and acceptance. So, of course, like any other time, this time too, right, for current energies that we're pulling. And of course, this is a timeless message, so irregardless of what year you find this, all right, um, stay true to yourself. Be in your authentic essence, energy, auric field, however the tag words you need to for me to like have come out my face. Gosh, somebody's throat chakra is a bit blocked. Still coming out of the people pleasing energy. It's not easy to come out of the people pleasing energy because, of course, who wants to run around pissing people off? Nobody goes from the collective. Not here, anyway. You see the numbers? It's not giving Jerry Springer type of digits, right? That might be too dated of a reference. Let me think. Jersey Shore, should that be it? Or what's that show Drewski was on? I don't know. I don't want, like, I don't have time for shows like that right now. Um, Nothing personal. I'd be on them though, probably at this point, but no, let me stop. Not all of them. Not that casting would necessarily consider me on all of them, because now I'm chuckling to myself because I have no idea what I'm referencing because I don't even know what all's out there. So that's probably a hilarious statement on my part. I think I stopped watching shit like that right after like somewhere in between like Real World, Celebrity Rehab, and Big Brother. Yeah. So, long time ago. The third card here, you guys, real quick. I forgive myself for restricting my experience by trying to live by the expectations of others. I choose to believe that I am expansive in the expression of who I am, and it is safe to experience every aspect of who I can be. So, again, I was talking a few moments ago about that crab in a bucket mentality. All right? It's because it's in your energy. People are projecting onto you. And this could be ex lovers, right? But again, going back to karma, all right, going back to the justice energy, okay, and of course, let's not forget, this is all, whatever you're going through, whatever you've gone through up to this point, part of the divine plan, right? Confirmation. And here's the thing, your feelings are valid. Nobody's saying, like, that you can't understand that sometimes this is a depiction of how life can feel heavy, alchemy can feel grueling, just the same as it can be good vibes only, right? Again, the choice is yours, and there is a bit of practice to this stuff, right? Nobody's saying like one and done ever, okay? But at the same time, the justice stands. And again, karmic justice. Um, This card says acknowledge your emotions as they come to pass, spend time with them, and investigate where your feelings are coming from. All right, it's really good to get to the root. Okay, it's one thing to understand that you have feelings. I'm not knocking you for that because some people, try to not even acknowledge that, and that's a real red flag, if I do say so myself. All right, it's just not healthy, right? So it's really good to feel your feelings, you guys. Where it gets toxic is when your feelings are ruling you. When you're losing control on the strength of your feelings, regardless of what that means. Because, and maybe some of you, do know about that movie. I think that was recently released, Obsession. That could be another example, not just the normal go to, um, of some sort of depressive state. There's all kinds of feelings that if they were overdone, man, you talking toxic, maybe even deadly, right? I mean, scary for sure. Understand that you are not your emotions, though, collective. They do not define who you are, and you have the power to both respect and move beyond them. Okay, and therein is that alchemy. When you are essentially licking your wounds, perhaps you might want to say it that way, when you're in that hermit energy, it's necessary. Okay, it's like if our vessel is one ginormous type of battery, then of course there's got to be some sort of recharge. Okay, um, watch the double minded energy. You guys can balance it out. All right. You can get into that dualistic nature in a healthy way. All right. Um, go beyond playing devil's advocate and, dare I say, put your coach hat on. It's a little different of a perspective. I feel like general like society and media depicts people going for the gold, as it were, and being their own hype man, in the sense of really kind of playing devil's advocate and not necessarily a coach aspect. And so I just want to be clear about that. Yes, you can. And it's interesting because it's giving masculine and feminine energy on this card. And you guys, we all have masculine and feminine energy. Can't get around the dual nature, regardless of meat suit and sexual preference, to be clear. Okay. So work on coaching both. All right. If you are an overgiver, all right, or a past overgiver, I'd like to call you now, um, then you need to work on your feminine energy, which is I don't chase, I attract, I receive. Okay, I receive willingly and gracefully, understanding I am worthy to receive. Okay, because when you get to the root, there's that word again of things. When you realize you're an overgiver, ask me how I know. You realize, oh, the root of this is not feeling worthy enough unless I give. It's like, what? So you're thinking love is a business transaction? Next thing you know, you meet a narcissist that literally is like, no, fuck love. We'll do business transactions. And there you go all over again. And nobody wants that. And you can't not really have that on the menu in your earth. It's not a thing. Okay? So be vigilant at this. Okay? Allow for this death rebirth energy to be a thing in your mental space. Okay? And Spirit saying that this is going to, with the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles, which you could be seeing 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, doesn't have to be the case. It's going to bring in a lot of options. Some of you, it's going to bring in housing or new housing, relocation. Okay? There's heavy significance to your guide's energy coming through. You could be an earth placement. You could be an air placement. You could be a water placement. But there could be some significance to having a connection with the Fae, with the dragons. I'm also hearing to say Greek mythology. Um, with the Ten of Rods, the Three of Pentacles, the Strength card coming through, the Six of Cups leading to the Star, which I cannot show. Um, this is good stuff you don't want to miss out on. Going back to that beginning of the spread with the Five of Swords leading to the Seven of Swords, if you should allow for that, which you're in charge at this, we'd advise against it though, okay? That would be what you're missing out on. All of that leading up to the Star card energy. For those that are saying, I don't know what the Star card energy is, okay. Um, it's really being in some sort of wish fulfilled, pleasant filled aspect of your path, your life. It would be the good side of karma, karmic justice, of course. And that could be a whole host of things because it's a general collective message. Okay, so from one individual person in the collective to the next, different strokes for different folks. Okay, but with this 10 of Wands, it can't get around the, well, it says 10 of Rods, but 10 of Wands nonetheless. Can't get around the energy of it moving in fast. Okay, this could be something where it's like you get word about something and it's like boom, boom, boom. I'm just seeing like dominoes fall one by one by one. Could be some significance between September and October with this 9 and 10 of Rods energy. And with the Knight of Pentacles and the Six of Rods, okay, something comes in, whether this is an offer in love, an offer in career, a type of contract, lease agreement, okay, perhaps for those resonating with that housing. It's coming in, all right? And so Spirit's saying, again, with that death and rebirth energy, get out of this freaking Eight of Swords, okay? It came in the reverse. Please, you got to get out of it, okay? You don't want to fuck up the manifestation. Instead, work on healing by facing it, okay? To the point where you are maintaining this level of stability, whether Geiger, what have you, okay? The Emperor energy is really talking about somebody wise, somebody stable, somebody, grounded for sure, okay? And again, could be speaking of, again, that Earth placement energy as well, but I digress. So, that is what I have for the general collective message. However, we do have the romance angels. In the meantime, I'm going to ring the bell. And on the other side of the freebie session, you guys, I'm going to take a look at what we can talk about referable to your love life. And at the end, I was guided. I'm not exactly sure why. I was really, for real though, guided to pull from the chart placements and initials deck for this one, even though it's general collective. So I hope you stick around and I hope you're enjoying yourselves. And I'm ringing the bell. So those that know what that means, love and light. Okay, love and light. If you're still with me, of course, love and light just the same. Pretty short and sweet tonight, you guys. And I do have a message from someone looking to come in with this Romance Angels Love section of the session this evening. Let me see who's in here. Love and light, Michael. Love and light, Liz. And love and light, Kiki. I'm not sure if I said that earlier. Um, sometimes my screen jumps, you guys, and then I miss it. Okay, let's see. So if I didn't give you a shout out, it was nothing personal, I promise you guys. Just can't see. But if not, we shall move on to the romance portion of the session with the romance angels. Oh, I apologize, Michaela. So sorry. Love and light, Michaela. You know what I did? I stopped at the L, right? Thinking that it was like a middle initial with the A. So, like, I read it like Michael A. Williams. I don't know why I did that. It's so funny. So sorry about that. Did I do Jay's question? Well, well, I get it now. It's Michaela, so it makes sense. So that was just me. Living like to you and your mom, honestly. Okay, now let me see here. Let me scroll up about Jay. Okay, let me see. I meant I mentioned Jerry. I'm the second person to mention Jerry Springer. Right? Like, what are we tapping into collectively? um, life be funny that way. Where is Jay's question, though, to be fair? Hold on. Because I see Jay talking, right? But I don't see. Okay, here we go. Okay, we'll be making up with headphones. Okay, let me see. I don't know if I understand that, but okay. Oh, hold on. Was there a lot of emotion behind this, or what is going on? Hold on, let me see. Let me ground. Like the cards are all. Are they thinking about it? Like a 50-50 split? It's like the cards like threaten to come out, and it's like no, but they didn't come out, so I keep going. Then they threaten to come out again, and it's like yeah, but they don't come out, so I keep going. And then again, they try to come out, but not really. Talking about no. So this is what's going on. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. Right here. Oh, well, we got to adjust this. I don't know why it took so damn long. Oh, maybe there's a synchronicity to that, right? Like, it's a yes, though, right? It coming in with something, offering something that's justice. But damn, it might take a minute. Not to be rude. Just saying there. That's what I got for you, Jay. That's okay because I get called my mom's name all the time. Like my first name is Cynetha, and people would be like Cynthia because they see it's spelled Cyn, and it's Cynetha, and they see the Cynth and the A, and they just assume, right? So growing up, it was funny too because every year we had to change grades. We'd be changing teachers, and the kids over the years would be just as miffed as me hearing my name like be like just butchered. Um, and I just thought it was kind of cool. Like I noticed as a young child, like okay, so they're doing that because they're not reading my name. Like they're not taking time to even. And then you guys know what happened to me. High school graduation. I don't know why I'm talking about high school graduation. We had the fucking rehearsal. Yeah. And the freaking principal and I met because I had a concern because I'm right. Excuse the tone. And so he says my name correctly the first try. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. Yep, that's how you say it. No problem. That actual graduation butchers the fuck out of my name. I was just like, why do I even like why are you doing that, sir? Like, I don't know why I'm talking about that. But anyways, yeah. So I get it. And that's why I do try, you guys. I really do, like, for real, like if I ever seem like even by accident, like for real, like that I'm picking on anybody about their name, that's not the case because I know what it's like to go through that shit. And I hated it. Right. I'm like, did he do it on purpose? Like I was so like I didn't even have pearls to clutch, but I tried to find them. No, let me stop. I was clutching my gown. I'm like, sir. Tilt my tassel, clutching my gown. Try not to cry through my makeup. But yeah. No, I just think that people in small towns let me stop. dot dot dot. So, but it still sucked, like, because I'm just like, oh my god, if he Like you would have thought he would have maybe been a little bit more concerned about it beforehand, so that he wouldn't have butchered it if there was if he even felt that there was a possibility. Because how am I supposed to know? Because he got it right and then kept getting it right. Right? Was he a bully too? Let me find out. He too was. This is making sense. Sometimes I resonate with the Grinch, you guys, like, because I look at the Grinch and I go, oh, but they were mean to him. Like, he tried to make gifts and things. Like, and the way I need you to know that, like, my narcissistic mother, like, laughed every year during the Grinch movie, because that scene where he's like breaking apart trash and shit to make that beautiful angel from Martha Mayhew, and like, oh, that's you, right? So I really resonate. Because you know what? It's starting to seem like a great idea to just put yourself up on a mountain and just chill. Like, don't go anywhere. So if you don't have anything to wear, who cares? Because you're not going. You know? You're wearing Grinch PJs. That's so cool. That's pretty badass. I love the Grinch. Like, I get the Grinch, man. Like, leave him alone. Like, they're trying to make him more of an asshole than like he ever was. And it's like you tried being bullied and beaten down over and over while everyone watches and knows that the mofo's getting gaslit, beaten down, like lied on. Like, who wants to sign up to be the Grinch? Like, and the funny thing is, in reality, right? Every year people are dressing up like the Grinch. Like, it's just, life is so funny. I think we're talking about this just to find the funny. Does that make sense? Like, you can get disgruntled about it if you want to feed that wolf too, you guys. I don't want you to. You shouldn't. but but you get where I'm going, right? You had to diagnose him. What did he have? Like BPD? Right, like he was, and then like he had his little familiar Max. Although the only thing I really don't fuck with about the Grinch is the way he treated Max. I don't stand for that. Mm-mm. I don't stand for that. Don't touch don't touch the children. Don't touch the animals. Just don't start none. Won't be none. Like, please. Because there were like a few scenes that I have to work through it because I'm just like, I guess it's to help keep children's attention. Why are we showing them this? I don't know. Like, why are we normalizing that? I don't know. Why is it necessary to see? I don't know. But anywho, that's the one thing. Like, I would even say, like, I'm okay with the way that he treated Cindy Lou Who at all times, right? Because there's like, a backstory there and everything, had to work through it. But Max never did nothing and never was a who. So, like, what the fuck? And that's also the epitome of hurt people hurting people. And and not to glorify it, because again, do not stand for it, but hurt people hurt animals too. And I hate that shit. I hate that shit with a passion. Just nobody should hurt. There should just be, if I had my way, you guys, there'd be no pain of any kind for anyone. Meanwhile, the monks are like, have walked around to the point where, like, soles of feet are needing healing as a choice. I wouldn't, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, like, if I can skate around that, like, if I could actually learn and grow my soul here without any kind of pain, I'd be a-okay with that. I don't really need to take my socks off and walk on rocks, I promise, because I actually know what that feels like. I've done it and I've bled. Thank you, next, right? So just saying. Said psychopaths. Um. Oh, your son used to be so scared of the Grinch. I see. I'm gonna out myself. I'm gonna date myself. I was scared of ET growing up. I was scared of ET. Because also I had this weird, like, I had this weird situation with like this poster that I swear was somehow enchanted, but as a child I did not know how to say like enchanted. I also have not really again experienced that, thankfully. But I was not the only person in my family to experience said enchantment from this particular poster. And at that point, the poster was not in my house. Um, Growing up, it was in my cousin's house, and then a second cousin's house as well, who also had experiences with this poster, seemingly moving and coming to life kind of thing in a very scary nightmare kind of way, but like you're awake. Like it's the craziest thing. And Michael Jackson was in the poster with ET, and of course, who doesn't love Michael Jackson, right? So I never forget trying to like push through just getting to sleep and staying to sleep so I didn't wake up to look at the poster. Because if I didn't wake up to look at the poster, then it was fine. But if I woke up and I looked at that poster, I was going to see, like, it was just the weirdest thing. Like, ET seemed to be, you guys know how, like, now today's technology, you can take a photograph and make it move a little bit. It's not like an actual video, but that's kind of like how that poster would do. And it wasn't really so much Michael Jackson. It was E.T. And E.T. was already scary enough. So I gave the poster up and gave it to one of my cousins. And he said same deal for him. And I didn't tell him that I had that experience. That's the crazy part. I did not tell him that I had that experience. So he didn't know that I was giving it to him because I was afraid. He just thought that I think he thought, if I recall correctly, I think he thought I was giving it to him because I was running out of wall space to put Prince related things online. Again, huge fan. Anyways, so and then he came to me about it, and I was like, "Ooh, can confirm," kind of thing, right? And then he gave it to. We said we're so bad for this though. We said we're not gonna say shit, like basically, and we gave it to a younger cousin, and he never said anything. And then one day we were a little bit older, and we asked, and he goes, "How'd you know?" Like it was so crazy. So we're like, okay, we're not crazy then. That shit, I don't know. I had something with it. I don't know. But ET was scary AF, boy, growing up, man. And it was already bad enough because it was low key kind of scary with the way the prosthetics were and shit. All right, you guys are quiet tonight. I'm just gonna go and bang out the rest of the message. So, for those sticking around for the romance angels part, all right, there is a connection now. Hold on, disclaimer: utilize your intuition. Do not be delusional. You will know. All right, you will know if this is for you. This is not for everyone. This feels like hella specific. Okay, me personally, you guys, I'm kind of surprised. It's such a great message. And I would like to know who resonates with this. And again, did pull from the chart placements and initials deck. Didn't get too many of either, but here we go. Somebody's getting married. All right. The situation is going to lead to a freaking wedding. Now, here's the sitch. Somebody, again, with this double mindedness, is being double minded about their love life, about this person coming in, about this person coming back, and Spirit saying, give the freaking connection a chance, okay? This person is coming back very soon. And who is this person? The one that you have the most chemistry that you've ever felt in your life with, okay? Whether this is the last person you've been with or not, okay? When this person comes back around, Spirit saying, make the effort, okay? This reconciliation is to be a thing. It is happening and it is worth waiting for. And this is a soulmate connection, all right? So this is past life, past love energy, perhaps, right? And you deserve this love. You've been doing the work. Spirit saying keep going so that you heal family issues to assist with attracting this person, the love of your life, you may say. Okay. to come in. All right. When you heal, when you forgive, you free up. Okay. And you energetically release, which means you're making room for more energy. It's giving out with the old and non beneficial energy, making way, making room for the new. Okay. This is definitely a past life lover. Okay. And Spirit saying this is actually for real. This is, hold on 1 second. Tyler the Creator, I believe, is who I'm hearing. Because it's like, for real this time. Something, I don't know, I can't catch the rest of it, but I don't know. But this is like the one, okay? This is the one that you've got the most chemistry. There's some aspect of like, okay, if you lined up all of the lovers you've ever loved, one one by one, and put them all in a room, it's giving the one that you know that you have had the most pleasure and chemistry and you know, exotic, okay, pleasure filled type of connection. All right. And I'm hearing to say something to the effect of you wouldn't even need to put all of the rest in a room. You'd already know it's this person. That's this person. Okay. This is the one. They're coming. All right. Now, uh, next steps, continue being true to yourself, honoring yourself as the light that you are. Okay. There's that positivity, there's that confidence. All right. Knowing you are on the great side of karma. That's why this connection is coming in. You've been attracting it. Focusing on self, okay? And not in a selfish way, focusing on self in a sense of self love, all right? Pouring into self as an investment, if you will, all right? And this is leading to more courage, confidence, if you will. This is leading to you being able to alchemize with ease, all right? And this is leading to essentially a glow up, all right? Inner beauty, inner beauty radiating to the outside, almost like sunshine, okay? And again, continue with the positive affirmations, the positive feeding of that positive woof, right? Acceptance and action coming through, you know, accept things for what they are and continue to do your part where your part is necessary. But also sometimes action is to rest, okay? Sometimes action is to go slow, all right? It's not always about beating the clock, it's not always about being the fastest. Even if you could be the fastest all the time, should you be? Would it be fun all the time to be the fastest, right? Like some people even have a complaint about that at like the doctor's office. It's like, gosh, they're rushing me, you know, or at the therapist's office. I feel rushed, you know, I'm only getting 24 minutes, it's supposed to be 30, you know, kind of thing, right? So accept the journey for what it is, all right, and continue to be accountable for what your part is to play in it all, right? You're co-creating with the universe, with source, with God, goddess, however you subscribe here. Makes sense that you should do your part. And this is part and parcel of learning to love yourself and learning to love what you find about yourself too, right? It's one thing to understand this is me, I live me, but like what else about you? And you know, what about the quote unquote good, bad, and ugly section, right? How can you still alchemize to love there? Because you should know that, especially if you're looking to bring in any kind of partner that would be valuable. And the reason why I say that is because unless and until you do that kind of work, you're really essentially attracting partners who also have not really understood all aspects of the assignment yet here, referable to shadow work and learning and growing and loving self, okay? And so, you know, you two may be equally yoked, but essentially a mirror that, you know, might portray a crack or two in it energetically, okay? So be mindful, you guys, don't half-ass yourselves and take yourselves seriously enough to do this work so that when the love of your life comes in, it is well and good and long lasting. Okay, that's what you want and that's what you desire because that's what you're deserving of. All right, so continue on keeping your believability about you. And that's what's going to assist you holding on to your peace. Okay. Again, that forgiveness brings in freedom and harmony within self. Okay. You cannot always insist that there be harmony between yourself and others. Okay. But you can always, again, going back to that grounded energy for this week's general collective message for the self love, self care Sunday. You can ground yourselves, balance yourselves within. Okay. And again, there's lessons to all of this, just like they all say there's levels to all of this, nonetheless. And so, this coursework, if you will, Earth being some form of uh, Earth school, is really to understand how to utilize the heart space referable to alchemy. Okay. How are you going to get past the emotions in spite of the pain and the emotions? And again, there is some aspect to feelings here coming through for this week's session. And again, your feelings are valid, as the card previously stated. Okay. So it's not, no one's picking on you and your spiritual guidance team. God's not angry or upset with you about, having feelings, for goodness sake. Okay. But, without given the chance to learn, how will you go on? How many times have you been through other experiences, maybe even at work, maybe even with your health? You wonder, how will I go on? Maybe even pregnancy comes to mind. It's like, how will I go on? How will I get through this experience? And all you know is you have two choices: you get through it or you don't, right? And even still, here you stand, or here you sit, or here you lie to receive this message. So that's pretty telling that you got through it. It's not telling, though, that you knew how you would, and that's okay. Okay. So when you look at some of these circumstances and you're feeling like, okay, here I am again, I need to ground again over this. I'm triggered again over that. I have to alchemize that all over again. Be grace filled towards yourself. Okay. It's not an overnight experience, but yet it's very doable, and you very much are capable, in spite of it not being a one and done. So, don't be such a taskmaster at yourself, or, towards yourselves, even energetically, let alone, in your mental space, about bettering your journey. Rome wasn't built in a day. You're not going to just get everything overnight. Okay. And that's why we talk about it so much on the channel as well, just to keep it fresh in our minds. All right. And in our subconscious. Again, the believability in our capability. It's very well and good and necessary to believe in the capability of the divine forces, right? But you have your part to maintain your believability in self as well. All right. Because otherwise, if not, it's a little off kilter, isn't it? You put all your faith in something that is not necessarily tangible, not necessarily able to be seen. Okay. But at the same time, that force, though very much present, though very much real, okay, is connected to you. So don't forget yourself, your vessel. That's why we talk about self care. Take care of yourself, your vessel, because as you do that, you are fostering the connection, and therefore the believability and your faith regarding, your divine support, whether you want to say, God, Goddess, Holy Spirit, the divine universe, however the tag words you need to come out of my face, okay? And this is really teaching a lesson about being free through faith, okay? You're not really going to get too far, you guys, without believability, as well as faith, as well as hope, as well as persistence, okay? And, it's so interesting. People quite easily can find themselves being stubborn in many different types of situations, okay? But yeah, when it comes to some of these terms we just spoke about, faith, believability, they really have to work at it. And it's interesting because it really takes the same effort, it's just a different choice. I really hope somebody got that, okay? I'm really rooting for you guys. This particular true love coming in, I do have a message from them. Okay. I hope we can put the past and the difficult times behind us and begin again. I know I'm asking a lot of you, but I hope you can forgive the errors of my ways. I acted so immature. This person, there could be some significance to the aesthetic of these people. Does not have to be the case, but I am guided to share this time around, you guys. Is hopeful that you guys can mend. All right, not necessarily in the sense of pick up where you left off, right? Because especially if this person was like in toxic energy or in karmic energy, and you guys, we all have the capability to be in karmic energy, because sometimes, we are teaching a lesson and other times we are learning a lesson, or sometimes, you find yourself within one conversation wafting between one energy to the next, because there is a bit of mirroring there, especially with the twin flame, perhaps, right? um this next card says, I want to take the honorable path towards you, so I am just taking responsibility for my situation. Excuse me, I am first taking responsibility for my situation. I am coming forward to tell you how I feel. I know I have what it takes to make you mine, and I am ready for our new beginning. So it's funny, I was channeling that 111 energy. It's making me think of that right now. So maybe that was you. You could be seeing 111, and that is a hella significant number, referable to new beginnings for sure, if that's you. Okay. This person is very sorry. Okay. They know they caused you pain, and they know that they this is like this person abandoned your ass. I know what that's like. Um, it says, I wasn't there when you needed me the most. This is giving, oh my gosh, Bieber, right? What the hell was that song? I used to listen to that too. It says, I wanted to be there to comfort you, but I was afraid of letting you down. The self sabotage is real, right? Like, I do not, I'm not even trying to be an asshole when I say that, you guys. I really wish I could almost do like a group study of individuals. I don't know why, but I just really want to get to the bottom of like the different types of avoidance. Like, why? Like, help me understand. So, because I feel like once I can understand, then I can help with the pattern, right? But unless until, and I really can't make sense of it, because it's not that I am like seriously like a bull in a china shop. I'm the type of person that, like, whether whether out and about or behind closed doors, I'm not trying to actually have attention on me necessarily, unless the moment is appropriate. Like, hey, are we doing karaoke or some shit? Like, well, then yeah, I'd expect like the way that I'm gonna look at you and listen to you when it's your turn, that you would, but other than that, putting on a show, not so much. Like, also look away, please. You know what I mean? Kind of, that's me, right? So I don't understand, in spite of me being that way, still, how you just would not communicate, or how communication would be so scary. And I need you to know, I've had some of the scariest, life altering, life threatening communication. And I still don't understand. Like, I wish, and I'm not picking on nobody, so I don't want anybody to feel like, but I just really wonder, because I just don't understand that. Because I feel like communication, even some of the harshest or hardest type of communication, leads ultimately to a resolution. And I am very resolution oriented. Like, what's the solution here? To my detriment. Like, literally, my kid calls me out on that shit all the time, because the other day I even tried to be like, oh no, because I'm mom, and so I just try to help with you because blah blah blah. And she cut me off right there and was like, first of all, mom, you do that with everyone. You try to help everyone. So, like, I don't understand. Like, I feel like communication, I'm the type of person that like accidentally pisses people off, because like I literally will accidentally ask too many questions. But my thing is like, there's no such thing as like necessarily too many questions, unless it's like a deliberate, passive aggressive, idiotic type of action where somebody just keeps asking questions, especially if they're not actually a child that just doesn't know any better. Does that make sense? Because other than that, there's no such thing as a stupid question. So how, if there's no such thing as a stupid question, are there too many questions? That's why I just don't, clarity should be what people work towards to achieve and maintain. But again, it takes a level of authenticity. You'd have to be honest. You'd have to be, perhaps you might say, vulnerable, and that's where people put up boundaries for shit like that. But not for some of the ABUSC that they endure or invite. It's so odd. Um, the cycles that people can find themselves in. But I also recently during meditation had this understanding of like balance. And so, there are going to be times where we see things that we do not desire to see, witness, experience. And really, long story short, when you chalk it up, it's given that yin yang effect. You need the dark and the light. You need the ugly to enjoy the beautiful. And really, there's really no way around that other than, like we talk about here, just creating our own, pocket version of a utopia in this new earth conscious based energy, right? Where we understand what we're willing to tolerate versus what we're not willing to tolerate, as far as what is healthy for us versus what is not healthy for us, okay? And to be clear, we do talk about often, choosing ourselves and this, that, and the third. Again, this collective, and you can check the numbers, you can see, okay, um, there's no one in this collective, okay, truthfully, where your heart is such a way where you are a user, an abuser, and the like, right? Manipulator, a gaslighter. Okay, so, I'm not speaking to individuals that, even if they had a huge level and measure of authority, would abuse that. Okay, good-hearted people, you are, yes. On the great side of karma, you are, yes. Okay, and so that's why it is safe for us especially to talk as often as we do about choosing ourselves, okay? Because ain't no way we're going to choose ourselves and be all right and grounded and good and then see someone else needing a hand, right? And understand that it is well and good to, whether that's intuitively or there is some form of instruction, etc., to assist another person. Of course you're going to assist another person. All right. I'm not talking to individuals that, would operate in lesser than energies, of course. Okay. And that's why it is safe to talk about. I feel like somebody needs to hear, like, it is safe to talk about choosing yourself, because this is not a class for narcissism 101 on how to do and to become one, right? I think we all know well and good what that arena can be like, and it's giving, you know right, really realistically. But this person is thinking about you all the time, you guys, for those that resonate with this. And there is some aspect of songs. Okay, you guys could be both speaking to each other through songs. You could be noticing, like, oh my God, I just went into, the bodega and the freaking song on there. And it's like the song, our song. Like, why? And then I went to the laundromat. And it's like the song again, like things like that. Or just the lyrics, things coming through repetitively, like a theme, like I want to be your man, or let's get back together, or I miss you, kind of thing. And this person's hoping that you'll forgive them. Damn, said for all the things I have done. So this could be a lot, okay? And all the pain they caused you. Um, they're saying it was never their intention to hurt you, but they know they did. Like, pretty, like, yeah, badly, they said. With words and actions. Damn. Okay. And this person has big love for you. They're really, it's like, they got as much regret as they do love, to be clear. Could be some significance to the aesthetic of these folks. One second here before I forget the show. All right. Could be some significance to somebody's name, Joe. This person's saying, you're such a nurturing, magnetic, and passionate queen in my life. So I'm definitely speaking to a divine feminine. Your light shines brightly and guides me through my darkness. You feel like home to me, and I always feel happy and comfortable in your presence. Thank you for always sending me healing energy and love. I need you in your energy now more than ever. Um, and strive coming out. I have grown since our last encounter. I have been working on myself to become a better person, someone you can feel proud of. There could be some significance to the aesthetics of these queens. All right. All right, I'm going to ring the bell. Final call, you guys. And in the meantime, I'm going to give you the 411 on the... Maybe there's some significance to that area code. I don't even know what area code that is. But we've got M and D. This makes me think of Maryland, you guys. Maryland. I've been seeing Maryland plates left and right. Maryland, Maryland, Maryland. All day today. I'm like, whoa, I'm not even... Okay, so somebody could have two M's in their name. All right. We've got N and we've got C. Not too many tonight. Chart placement's only 3. Scorpio, Libra, and Aquarius. All right. And that's what I have for you tonight, collective. If this is where you leave me, much love and light. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you got something out of the message. All right. Hope you resonated with it, or it resonated for you, however it makes sense to say. A long day, you guys. Oof, feeling tired. Usually, jiu-jitsu days afterwards, I'm just like awash. It takes a lot out of you when you're like slammed onto the mat. Like, fuck. It's like hitting a wall, like, but sideways. The gloves are giving Michael Jackson. The funny thing is, dead ass, I got these gloves at Bins, right? And I didn't realize that the one glove, because Bins is like Amazon returns shit, right? And of course the color popped, and I love lace. I was like, ooh, like channel gloves mayhaps, right? Because I'm not dating, but whatever. So anyways, and so I put the other one on, and it is jacked up between the thumb and the fucking index finger. So I'm like, I'm not webbing it on live. So I just just put the one on. So thanks. Yeah, I was thinking more like Prince, but I guess it's not the color though. But yeah, yeah. Mike did have one sparkly glove. Boy, oh boy. Whatever works. I just love lace. I think it's just so feminine and sexy. But like, it doesn't have to be revealing. Like, I love that. Like, it's just the idea of it. Plus the color, and I thought, wherever else am I gonna wear it? So here we go. Love and light, Sophia. All right. So let's see here. All right, you guys. So, Sophia, can you please follow the live stream rules, babe, to pop your question in there? I can't play favorites. I'm not trying to pick on anybody, I promise. It's just, if I start playing favorites, then I gotta do it every live stream. And sometimes, you guys, I'm really not even gonna be able to do that. Okay. Okay, now let me see here. Thank you so much, Sophia. Okay, let's see. Now it's interesting. The maybe card came out here, Sophia, with the 2 of Wands, right? And it does speak to a level of anticipation, right? And not gonna lie, this no card here really definitely is talking about a lot of like mental anxiety. And for me as a reader, when the cards come out in horizontal fashion, sideways like this, it's really talking about a level of stagnancy, a blockage, if you will. And cutting the deck is the 5 of Pentacles, which really talks about like the energy of being like just not in a good place financially, or just even like perhaps emotionally, with Pentacles sometimes speaking of our level of satisfaction about self, about life, about situations, perhaps. And also another no coming out here, And with the swords also, again, speaking of the headspace. So I think maybe you might just be psyching yourself out into some sort of symptomatology of what you may feel like is evidence of said hex. But though the weapon be formed, it shall not prosper. And that contact has not been for a decade. I think whatever was sent your way, as fiery of a dart as it may have been, just can't stand in present energy. And I, if I were you, would claim this message, okay? And the reason why I say that is because, long story short, you guys, and I'm not picking on Sophia or any one of us. People can send bad intentions, projections, bippity boppity, plug in. I don't want to. It's a live stream, so I don't want to say all this stuff. Okay. Um, And so what of it? Because you either understand that you are already under the protection of the Most High, or what are we saying here? What are we believing? What's the other option? And you really need to be clear about that. And I'm not picking on any one of us. The reason why is because the universe is always listening, or God, as it were, is always listening. Whether we are actively speaking with our tongues or not, we could be speaking with our thoughts, we could be speaking with the emotions that we continue to process through and stay stuck on and worry over and hang on to. Okay? So you got to be mindful. What are you saying, thinking, and doing? Because that's how you are actively co creating. All right. And so if you want to see more in your path, you've got to really be intentional about what that means for you. Okay. You can't really just walk around going, well, I don't have this, and so won't do this for me. And my kids never say these things to me. And, it's like, because you're actively, you think of, my guides are showing me that freaking Mickey Mouse wizard. What the hell is it? Is it Fantasia? It's like, but it's like all these horrible, rotten things. Like, my kids never speak to me, and my husband never touches me. It's all bippity boppity and pretty and stuff, but is it healthy? Hell no, it's toxic. Like, abort, confirmation. All right. So, just saying. Okay, love and light, Sophie. So you guys be intentional, all right, and don't beat yourselves up if you find that. How many times I've had to like check myself for being my own worst enemy. How many times people have said you're too hard on yourself, like in some of the most weirdest places too. I'm like, oh, so you noticed? Oh, okay, I guess I should give myself a little bit. How do you know something until you know it? All I'm saying is once you know better, you can live better, and I like to celebrate that. So I don't want anyone feeling bad or sorry or, you know, attaching shame or stigma to the process of learning and growing your soul. All right, how strict are you? Whoever is trying to do that. Love and light country. All right. So you guys, self-reflection is best, okay? Over self-rejection. Does that make sense? Self-reflection does not equate. It should not equate, to be clear, to self-rejection. Does that make sense? All right. Love and light, hi, sweetie. All right. Let's see here. Yep, we're on final bell call. You guys get your questions in. All right. So we did Jay. I do recall that. Okay. You're very welcome. And then, all right, just wanted to scroll back. You guys bear with. We got Sophie next, I believe. Um, okay. Let's see here. Yes, if you're looking for an offer, it's coming in. It may take what feels like forever and a day, especially if you're in this heartbreak energy. Okay, if you're not in this heartbreak energy, there might be heartbreak energy over when you get this official offer, okay, between that point of time and now, all right? Not trying to doom and gloom. I'm saying, hey, make sure you're not actually going to consent to this kind of energy because you either believe that it ends well, okay, and live your best life anyhow, while you're definitely outside of the waiting room, because nobody needs to wait for anybody to come in with an offer. It's just nice to know, right? Or this could also mean that this person's taking a bit of time to come in because they need a bit of time to heal. All right, take whatever resonates there. That's what I got. Okay, lovely. You're very welcome, Sophia. I'm glad it resonated. Okay, let me see here. Ooh, ooh, that was. I gotta know, but let me just clarify. That was so damn fast. It was like a hell no, hell no, hell no. Again, just said it's given no, 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 no judgment. So, definitely did not stand in the way of your offer. I think this could mean that they felt the offer was very fair, and it's just like whatever you want, just give it to her. Because stand in the way. I'm taking as far as blocking, right? That would be a negative thing. Let me just see something about this judgment. I just want to clarify. Oh my God. Like literally, like country. Look, I clarified the judgment. Okay, came out the freaking Hierophant. Ooh wee. Somebody is blessed. Who is it, country, and everyone else on in the collective, in the chat box, on the live stream. All right. I can't. I mean, this is coming in fast. Whatever the evidence is of that decision. Pressure. You coming in as pressure. As the Queen of Pentacles. All right, let me get all of this. I just like the energy, so I wanted to keep going. Okay, here we go. Let me actually get out of your armpit, country love. Let me stop. I'm over here like, and I took it too far. My bad. Thank you for being here. You're very welcome, Sophie. And you're very welcome, country. Shoo-wee. Anyways. All right, you guys. So I think that about wraps it up. I feel good. I hope you feel at least just as good, if not amazing. Okay. And go take care of yourselves, would you? If you did not smile yet today, please make the choice to do so. It's really in the choice, right? But also do what makes you smile. Okay. Give yourselves time to breathe long enough to figure out how to remember to smile if that's you, okay? Because you can and you deserve to smile, you guys. Right? Be kind to yourselves. Ooh, what's the name of the song? Lovely. I'm not sure how to say that name. Lovely Teeson, can you please follow along the live stream rules if you're going to ask for a free tarot message? I really appreciate it. I did not see any of the Met tonight. No, I did not. But oh, you know what it is? I thought maybe there was something else at the Met Gala. I'm so sorry. Like I read that listening to Met, but I was like thinking Met Gala tonight. God, why do I keep doing that? It's so funny. I did that with Michaela. I'm like Michael A. Why? Now Met tonight. Yeesh. I gotta go ground apparently or something. Love Light Cat Goddess. Well, we'll consult the deck, right, Cat Goddess? But just off the cuff, my 2 cents, really quick, is you're not going to get energy vampires ever to be like, yeah, we're energy vampires. So if you wanted those kind of people to be like, yeah, we're draining you, it's usually not a thing. Can't say it never happens, but even when it happens, if you expected change behavior, those people, those types, they're not coded for that. They're not built for that. They're not going to change. Maybe they can't, but for you to remain hope filled about something that doesn't even have to matter as far as you advancing in your own path, I'd say choose differently, different choices, different focus. Because sometimes you guys, people are not learning that lesson, right? Because you're not showing that you've learned the lesson. You know, maybe the lesson is about boundaries and keeping them, not going back and not tolerating something that is not meant for you to be tolerating, you know, whether that's people, places, things, you guys. And some of those lessons, not gonna lie, me personally, I've learned some lessons overnight, not all. Some took years, years. And I want to say I regret it, but at the same time, it's allowed for me to help somebody here tonight. So can't say it was all in vain now, can I? You know? So that's why I'm grateful when you guys do come on. You say, oh, you know, you inspire me, you help me, this resonates, helps to keep me going, you know, because there's a lot more to it than just what you see on the live stream, right? And there's a lot more life that I've lived that, you know, maybe I do not necessarily share on the live stream, all right? But it all ties into whom I am and how I'm able to deliver these messages to you, okay? And so when you chalk it up like that, it's giving, okay, it ends well, right? Because otherwise, to be disgruntled, you know, I might just make myself sick, and then I'm not even helping as much as I'm able to help currently, you know. And it's not about an ego thing; it's about an each one teach one thing, right? Haven't you had multiple occasions where you wish you just had somebody else there, right? Not even necessarily as a guide, but you know, as a shoulder to lean on, whether you were crying or not, you know, and you weren't afforded that. You had to be your own, okay? Allow me to be whatever assistance I'm able to be. I'm not saying I know everything, and I'm not saying I'm all the way healed. I don't expect that any one of us would be, quote, all the way healed, end quote, whilst still being on this earth, right? Because the reasoning behind that is we are here to learn and grow our souls while here, all right? So part of the design, part of the divine plan, like we talked about earlier tonight for the session, makes sense if I do say so myself. I hope it makes sense to you guys. I love you too, Sophie. Oh, and I love you too, Fiona. And I apologize if I actually interjected myself into your conversation because maybe that was betwixt you two. I apologize. I love you guys loving and lightening each other though. That's for sure. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm saying Tice's name. Wait, hold on. I don't. Now I don't know. Venetius. Venetius Tice. Okay. Much love and light. I just looked up and then I looked up again and I was like, oh yeah, that's because you know I do that randomly, and usually it is to like whatever Fiona is talking about. I'm like, yeah, no, I know. Like somebody will be like, nice shirt, and I'm like, oh, thanks, I got it at the blah blah blah, and then I scroll up. I'll be like, oh, oh, sorry, that's not nice shirt, literally, but you know, if this were Zoom, that would work. But you know, I don't know. Just don't pay attention to me all the time. Just sometimes, you guys. What do you want me to say? I don't know. It's been a long day, man. It's a jujitsu day. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. I was proud of myself today, though, you guys, because today was like really for all ab day. Like, if I do say so myself, and I still did it. I was like, yay, got stronger. Like from day one to this particular class. So it's like it's nice to see progression and advancement. So I'm telling you guys, those baby steps, just keep going, because the longer you sit there and you go, I can't, and this won't work out. the longer you're dictating, like freaking going back to that Mickey Mouse with the wands, like bippity boppity, like that's not working out, and the sky is falling, and all is bad, and it's like, oh my god, oh, you know. So, just saying, be mindful, you guys. Oh, thank you, Fiona. I appreciate you guys. I'm proud of you guys too. You know that just the fact that you haven't given up, and the fact that you remain hearts open and discerning, of course, and doing the work. The cards show it, and divine backs you. Cards show that too, and energy don't lie, for sure, for sure. So I love to talk about it. Thank you for being such an amazing collective. This wouldn't be as great if you think about it. Not to bring up Mr. Springer again, if it was just a Jerry Springer type of dynamic, we might not have some of these high vibrational esoteric talks. Okay, and I personally enjoy those because I feel like I personally like to vibrate there. Okay, it's cleaner air there, you may say. I don't like to deal with low vibes. I really don't. It's just, I feel like it's you know definitely connected to feeling like time and time again you're not able to get away from them, because of, like, family dynamics, and age restrictions, living restrictions, things like that. So and I personally don't like that stuck feeling. It's never really great. But at the same time, for anyone facing that kind of stuck feeling, please know, this too shall pass. When you start really looking back with that 2020 hindsight, and you start combing over your path as to the ways that you survived anyhow, as to the ways that you didn't know how, but you got through anyhow, and you can now look back and see how you got through, and you can know that it was again that divine backing you. That's why a lot of people, do know your name and maybe you don't know theirs, because they've been watching your story for a while now while you live it out. And you might call it survival mode, right? But at the same time, going back to that balance, right? Like, for instance, the other day, I noticed in the area of the store, there was a homeless gentleman. And to be clear, I'm not ragging on homeless people at all, okay? But the reason why I know he was homeless is because, like, he kind of like wrapped up all of his like clothing and belongings, and then like shaped them. It was kind of crafty, to look, at least from extremely far away, like a child's body, and then like put like hats on top of the head, okay, to like round out the head and things. And he has been seen walking, from here to there, just milling about, apparently. And I just thought, I wanted to feel bad for the guy, right? But Holy Spirit was basically like, well, you can't necessarily feel bad for the guy, because sometimes people do things that, have consequences, right? So there is that. You can't just assume that this is just a good hearted person, right? And it was really not even about the guy I knew in the moment. It was about just the teaching lesson about perspective, right? And then also, again, with a different level of perspective, okay, or variable perspective, Spirit showed me that basically sometimes it's necessary for people, and in my mind's eye, I thought of the youth, okay, to see something like that, for someone to go through that. And so then, chills on this, it was presented, perhaps he signed up to be just that. So where's the problem? See, so again, going back to need dirt for plants and other life forms, right? You need that yin yang, dark light, okay, good bad, if you want to say, ugly beautiful, to create a balance. Because, as they say, God uses all. And why would that be? Because the all in all is connecting back to source. energy, life force energy, whether you call that God, goddess, the universe, or not. Okay? And it just is what it is. This is why we're here to learn and grow our souls, okay? Return unto source, okay? Right now, there is a great awakening, a heart space opening, and recalibrating, if I do say so myself. So, again, it is Self Care Sunday. Be grace filled with yourselves as well as your vessels. Be kind to yourselves as well as your vessels. All right? You are not just your name, you are not just your physical identity. Your body is not just your body because you have an emotional body, all right? You've got an auric field, all of that. So in your prayer meditative practices, you guys, cover yourselves, all right? Ask for rejuvenation assistance, if you will. Ask your guardian angels, the archangels, and the like, okay? Because otherwise, you're not really utilizing all the tools in your spiritual tool belt, and it could be to your detriment. You could burn out and feel drained and shit, right? And maybe you might start feeling like you want to give up. And nobody has time for you to be on that type of timeline right now. I hope that makes sense. All right. I love you guys so, so much. Go rest. Happy Self Care Sunday. Mwah.